So start by getting brass metal and getting some reference pictures, and then I've got a Blender file already open with a couple of reference pictures. I'll put one more in. I'm going to Shift A, add, then I'm going to go to empty, image, and then I'm going to rotate that to view. I'm going to insert that picture that I want, and if I click this, there we go. So there's one more image. Having reference images allows you to create the bullet the way that you want to. So I'm going to click in the middle of this bullet over here, Shift A, add a mesh, circle. So that's going across sideways. Tab into edit mode, extrude, Z-axis, pulling that up. So that whole thing is just too big. I'm going to scale that down. So that's the same diameter as the bullet. Grab this top part, EZ. I'll turn on my screencast key, so now you can see down the bottom left what I am pushing. And grab that, GZ, so that's the full length of the bullet. Put in some loop cuts, Control R, pull down, Control R, that one there. So now I've got some loop cuts. I'm going to go to face select, grab that whole part, S for scale, and taper that down. Now this other reference image over here shows there is a bevel on the edge, so I'm going to make that. It's hard to tell in this image, but come there, scale that in just a little bit. Okie dokie. So then looking from the bottom, I'm going to push F to fill, and then I for inset. It's going to come down, and then again I for inset, I for inset, I for inset, and scale all the way down, and then drop it there. I think I need one more. Yes, I do. Control R, bring that out. And in here, grab this one. Depending on where you click, if I click here, that'll go this way, like that. Don't want that. But if I highlight here, it'll get that loop cut. I'm going to go EZ and pull that up. And that's going to create the indent for that bullet. I'm now going to put some modifiers on. So I'm going to start with solidify and just do a little bit of experimentation. And you can see that that's creating some thickness. If you want it thicker, just click up more and that'll give you the thickness of your brass casing. When you're satisfied with the thickness of that, click apply. Can't do it in edit mode, so tab into object mode. Now I have the full model with extra thickness. In fact, I don't want to do that just yet. Add, solidify. I'm going to put in some loop cuts to allow this subdivision surface to not make my bullet look crazy. So Control R, pull one right up on the end, and do this the same everywhere. Control R, pull down just up from the bottom, just back. And just repeating this as necessary to get the sharpness of these corners. Control R each time. Control R left click, and left click to confirm the placement. Control R, then left click, Control place. Going to check these ones. I possibly need another one here to stop it being too round. And I'm going to highlight all, and over here shading UVs, faces smooth. That's going to help, so therefore I don't have to have my subdivision surface to such crazy levels. And that largely is a bullet shell modeled. going to apply my solidify modifier now. And by doing it in that order, all of these extra cuts are on both sides. Next thing I'm going to do is mark seams. So Alt click in a PC, Control E, mark seam. Alt click, Control E, mark seam, and repeat, Control E, mark seam. Control E, mark seam. These outside ones will matter the most. Never really going to see inside of there, so I'm not too fussed. But I will probably need one all the way around the outside here. It allows it to unwrap, and one down in here. And then I'll just leave it alone after that. Okay, now I'm going to do the actual unwrapping. Push T to get rid of that menu. Bring this down. This is going to be UV image editor. Highlight this model, U to unwrap. Click the top option, and here it is, all unwrapped. I'm going to test all this out. New. So this is a test grid. Going to make this 3K. So times that by 3. Times by 3. And generated type from blank to UV grid. Go OK. So here's my grid. I'm going to check for stretching. To do that, got to be in cycles render. And I'm going to change this one down to node editor. Click new if there are no nodes in there. Delete that one. Shift A to add. Search principled BSDF. PRIN is enough. Connect that. Shift A. Search image. And connect that. This one's already open, so will be a list of all the other files that are already open. So this test grid. And in this view, now if I change to material, I can see that that is fairly nicely unwrapped. There's no stretching, it doesn't look like they're rectangles. That's on an odd angle. So's this one, because they are probably these curves here. Down the bottom, all even sizes, so I'm happy with that, and I'm going to leave it alone. Next is connecting up all of my brass textures. So I'm going to swap this one for the brass texture. Start with the color. Make that wide enough so you can see it. Make sure the first one is color data and the rest Shift D to duplicate. This is non-color data. Change this one to metalness map. Connect that one into metallic. Shift D for duplicate. This one is roughness. Open this up to roughness. That one will connect into roughness. Shift D to duplicate that one. And this is going to open up into the normal map. That's going to feed through and Shift A, search normal. And I'm going to choose the normal map. It's not going to connect particularly well there, so just remove that. So the normal map, that's going to feed through here, connect that up to the normals, and then if we look under rendered view, it doesn't look very good because there's no lights. I prepared some lights earlier, and these planes I should be able to move to layer 1. There we go. Still got something in this layer here. That's my previous bullet. So here we are. And I'll move everything this way. So these planes here are emitting light. So if I let that settle down, we can see we've got brass metal applied. And if we look, We can do some other tweaking like the strength of the normal map. So we'll try say 3. Hopefully we'll be able to see a few details. I'm not going to do a test render at the moment, but I want to see a few extra details. Cool. I'll leave that alone for now. And what I'm going to do is put in some extra fingerprints over the top. Duplicate this one, and I'm going to swap this out for some fingerprints. So I'll go to my textures folder. So wiping residues, BCD fingerprints. I'm going to connect this one, Shift A. It's going to be a mix RGB. This is going to affect the roughness. If I Control Shift click this, it shows my fingerprints. Those fingerprints to me look a little bit small, so if I Control T, that's going to pop out the mapping node. If I change that to 0.5, that looks okay. Looks a bit better. Fingerprints. Yeah, I like those fingerprint sizes. I'll Control click that and see what mix is like. So I'm going to change that to overlay so I can see both of those. And if I change the factor, it's going to change the strength. Pretty consistent roughness overall because it is brass after all. I'll just leave it like that. Control Shift click that, and that'll get me back to my brass. Change the lighting position. Can't see much with the lights where they are. So I've got a bullet with some fingerprints on it. And rotate x-axis 90. GC. Bullet shell sitting on the ground. Change the camera view. Can I render that, I think? Make it a loaded bullet. Shift A, UV sphere, rotate X 90, scale it down. It's approximately the size I want. that one, H for hide, Z wireframe, box select that whole back section, delete all the vertices, extrude in the y-axis, extrude in the y-axis again, extrude in the y-axis one more time, scale it down. Yeah, that's gone inside out, it's weird. F to fill, hide it inset, hide it inset again, highlight that whole thing, and for some reason that's come inside out, so we'll recalculate. That's all fixed. I don't know if that's quite long enough for a bullet, so if we look at these reference pictures, okay, they need to be a bit longer and more tapered. Okay. So if I grab and one, go to O for proportional editing, G for grab, Y for y-axis. There's my tapered bullet. Alt H for unhiding. L O G Y. Subdivision surface off. That GY, make it longer. Delta G. There's my bullet. Now this part, I'm going to from this end, and then go project from view U, unwrap, project. Yeah, I think project from view. Unwrap that part. Go. This material will be a new one. Plus, this will be material 04. Edit mode at this 2, and then it becomes separate. So this is bullet tip. And I'm going to feed this through Shift A, RGB, search RGB, mix, mix RGB, Shift A, search that one. I like to see the color I'm mixing. Plug it into there. That part is going to be assigned. Drag it through a reddish looking color and adjust the factor. Go back to my subdivision and apply it. Look through my camera. Lock camera to view. There we go. And I'm going to render that. All done. I hope you like it.